How about a little coffee in your perfumes? This is going to be exactly what the title said. I'm going to tell you a little about coffee-based fragrances. So let's start with the video. Hi everyone, welcome to Sense with Singh, and today I'm going to tell you about coffee-based fragrances. So many perfumes are sometimes based around a single note rather than having a homogeneous mixture of many fragrances or notes. So I have picked up 7 coffee fragrances that are available in the market that you can try, you can buy. Some of them are niche, some of them are Indian perfumes, and none of them are designers. So there are going to be 7 fragrances that I'm going to tell you about. So we are going to start with a fragrance from India only. This is called Dutch Treat. So Dutch Treat is a fragrance by Perfumologist Mohit Khatri. Dutch Treat is not primarily a coffee-based fragrance. It has a smell of, it is more of a chocolate dominated. This is like a chocolate chip cookie with a hint of coffee in the back. Not so prominent coffee, but still a very nice gourmand fragrance. I will come back to these. Next is, I have a sample of Black Phantom. So Black Phantom by Kilian is another very nice gourmand fragrance. Not only does it have coffee in it, this also has more boozy notes. This is a chocolate, coffee, rum, or maybe I think rum, whiskey or cognac, some alcohol combination. And this is sweet, this is gentle, this is another very good creation, beautiful for the current weather. So that is one point of making this video, because these fragrances are very nice for the winter season. So that's Black Phantom, again something we'll come back to. Next is a fragrance by Indian Perfumery. This is a fragrance house based out of Pune, and this is run by Mr. MEHDI HASAN. Mr. MEHDI HASAN has done a number of fragrances. I've tried a lot of fragrances from him, and this one was something that I really enjoyed and I found it worthy to be featured here. So Cafe Mocha is his original creation. This is not a clone of any fragrance. And this has a much more realistic coffee note. This is a sweet, creamy coffee. This is very well done. This has some gourmand notes in this as well, but I really like the coffee presence in it. This is the smell of not just coffee, not a fresh brewed coffee, but also the smell of the aroma that is there in a cafe. So a very well done fragrance, Cafe Mocha. Next we have a fragrance which is very nice. It is called Spiced Coffee by MRIDUL's Fine Fragrances, MMC. MRIDUL happens to be an Indian perfumer from Dehradun, and he has done a number of fragrances. I will be covering his fragrances very soon, and so the first I am telling you about his work is Spiced Coffee. This is a very nice woody sweet coffee. This is not as dark as a black coffee or a fresh brewed coffee is. I've actually, in my previous videos and even to him, I have mentioned a number of times that this is a fragrance I like in the air, like it as an aroma rather than wearing it as a fragrance. But gradually this has grown on me and I have started to enjoy this fragrance more off my skin. So this is spiced, but the spices are woody spices, something like a cinnamon or a star anise, something like that. Not a 100% coffee, but a good blend of coffees. It reminds me of filter coffees from the south. So the next 3 fragrances are very special. I would consider these as more approachable. These are niche fragrances. These are very amazing. But before I get into those top 3 and I tell you my favorite coffee fragrance, I would like to mention Habana 500. So Habana 500 is a very special fragrance. This is a limited edition launch by RENIER Perfumes. So RENIER Perfumes launched this fragrance. I am not able to get this into focus. Maybe I can, maybe I can. Yes, I can. So Habana 500, look at that juice color. It is so gorgeous. So this was a fragrance which was dedicated to the city of Havana in Cuba upon completing 500 years of its establishment. And there were only 500 of these bottles, and I consider myself fortunate enough to receive a sample all the way from Texas, thanks to Glenn of Mr. Cologne 76 on Instagram. Glenn, my brother, thank you so much for sending this sample to me. And out of the top 3 fragrances, 2 samples were sent to me by him only. So thank you so much. He knows I love the coffee fragrances. So let me tell you about Havana 500 first. I'm sorry, I'm stingy. I'll just do 1 spray of this. This is just a little bit of juice left, and oh my god, this is so gorgeous. I did not bring the blotter close to me, but still it has filled the area around me. Spices, coffee, hint of tobacco in there, almost a resinous feel. So the beauty of this fragrance is there is a hint of blue on the blotter. So the beauty of this fragrance is that when I experienced this off my skin, and I did it a little while back, the coffee note did not come off from my skin. It was like a balsamic note, a resin note that was very prevalent and dominant around me in the air. Right now it is doing exactly that. This has to be one of the most amazing coffee fragrances that has come out in the last year. From somewhere, if anybody is able to get a sample of Habana 500, I highly recommend this fragrance. This is very complex. This is not for the weak-hearted, but this is still very approachable. And this is so beautiful, so beautiful. This is almost like smoking a cigar and having a coffee right next to the sea breeze. So this is a brilliant combination. Overwhelming. So the next 3 fragrances, again, the next fragrance that I'm going to tell you is from a French brand, and this fragrance is called Café Cabanel. This was also a sample. I have the original sample as well. I gifted it to someone, but so this fragrance was supposed to be with me somehow, so I received this from Glenn as well. So Café Cabanel, let me spray this one. Café Cabanel is a very beautiful fragrance. Now this is a fragrance which feels more like a coffee perfume. This is a very good coffee note, but it is not trying as hard to be a realistic coffee fragrance. This is a very good coffee note. This is something very rich. This is quite deep. Off the skin it comes off very nicely. It is very alluring. There are spices, there is cinnamon in there, I think woody notes, woody spices, a hint of musk also definitely. So a beautiful composition by Cecil Zarokian. Cecil is one of the most amazing perfumers of our generation right now, and she created this absolute masterpiece. She has done some amazing complex fragrances as well, but this is something that is just beautiful. So the next fragrance I'm going to tell you about, for this fragrance I would like to thank Shraddha, my friend from the channel Bank of Scents. She's there on Instagram, and I'm trying really hard to get her on YouTube as well. She's an amazing fragrance reviewer. She has an amazing collection as well. So she was kind enough to send me number 4. This was a blind sampling that we did together. She sent me some marked samples, I sent her some marked samples, and we made our judgments without knowing what the exact brand or the perfume is. So this one was Café Tuberose by Atelier Cologne. So this is another very good coffee note. This is quite realistic, and the blend of it, this is like the smell of the fresh filter coffee and a little bit of the watery residue that is left behind in the filter, and that comes along very nicely with the tuberose. The tuberose here is very sensual. It is very sweet but not cloying sweet, so very nice touch. Ask me if it is feminine. No, it is. I would say this is unisex fragrance. A man bold enough and secure enough as his masculinity would wear this fragrance. So Cafe Tuberose is a beautiful fragrance. We'll get back to this one. Last but not the least, right now and so far, my favorite coffee fragrance of all time has to be none other than Awake. So Awake is a range of fragrances that comes from Akro. Akro is a house created by a perfumer, master perfumer called Olivier Cresp. Mr. Cresp created this creation based on the addiction called coffee. So it is a very interesting house that one should really explore. So Awake this is the creamiest, most seductive coffee note in a fragrance that there can be. So I know this fragrance in and out. I've worn this fragrance a number of times and I've really enjoyed its dry down. So this one, I'll tell you about this. So in Awake, there is a hint of lemon at the top which hands over the control to the coffee. This coffee note is supplemented by vetiver and cardamom. So in the Arabian, in the Middle East, I should say, what they do is when they grind their coffee, they grind the cardamom with that. So you get a ground mixture of coffee and cardamom together. They do it in a certain proportion. And this reminds me of it with that added sweet, very gentle vetiver note, which is very interesting, which almost gives it like a creamy vanilla coffee kind of a flavor, but no, there is no vanilla in it. So this is a fragrance that I really like, but the magic of perfumery happens here, and once everything has dried down and you start to think that this fragrance will become linear, that is where it comes back and surprises you with that fresh lemon that gave its hint at the beginning. So lemon in perfumery, as I've a number of times mentioned, is a soft note. It is not a heavy, sharp, tart kind of a note. No, this is very soft, sweet lemon. So that lemon comes back and stays with the whole composition. So this is another brilliant creation that I request everyone to experience. So a quick recap. We tried Dutch Treat by Perfumologist. So Dutch Treat is a chocolate cookie with a hint of coffee in it. So Dutch Treat by Perfumologist, very nice fragrance. Give this a try. So next was Black Phantom by the House of KILIAN. Another rich, very boozy, sweet fragrance. Not as cloying sweet, but yes, some hint of sweetness is in there. So another very nice fragrance is Black Phantom by KILIAN. Next we have, and another very good fragrance is, I have written here, Cafe Mocha. So Cafe Mocha is something that I highly recommend you to try. You can find Mr. MEHDI HASAN on Facebook. I will leave his link and any other information that I can, I'll take from him. So this is another very good fragrance, Cafe Mocha. Next we have spiced coffee. This is something that I've grown to love gradually. I did a video, I think. No, I have to cover his stuff, Riddles stuff. So I think I like this fragrance. It has grown very nicely. It reminds me of a hint of a chocolate cocoa kind of a note, not sweet chocolate, but a good coffee fragrance nonetheless. And the next we mentioned was the legendary Habana 500. If you can get a sample of it from anywhere, do not miss this fragrance. You're a fragrance lover, fine. You're not a fragrance lover, then it is more so of a reason to become a fragrance lover, because this is just marvelous. Glenn, once again, thank you so much for Habana 500. This is a brilliant creation. I'm very fortunate to have this. So after that, we talked about Cafe Cabanel. Cabanel is a house that is doing very nice fragrances. I have tried a number of their fragrances, and all of them, it is very difficult to decide which one is your favorite out of them. But Cafe Cabanel is certainly a composition that needs to be experienced. Very nice woody spicy coffee, not that creamy but nice. Next is Cafe Tuberose. Cafe Tuberose, the coffee on this note on the paper has slightly softened and the tuberose becomes more dominant, but the tuberose is getting supplemented by that richer, darker coffee note. So one fragrance again I highly recommend you to try. Tuberose by Atelier Cologne. And last but not the least, if you can get this bottle, I recommend this as a blind buy, is Awake. This is so beautiful. This is coffee. This is rich. The cardamom is very sweet, where it adds a good volume to the composition. And when the lemon comes back, it is just too good. You just forget what you had sprayed on and what it has become. And the beauty part is the projection of this one. The longevity here is remarkable. It really goes away. If you have oversprayed this one, it is going to fill the room with your fragrance. And that vetiver note again is very nice. Lasts for a good 7-8 hours on your skin. So Awake, my top coffee recommendation. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you subscribe to my channel. Keep showing the love and support that you have been doing already. I am very grateful for that. So I'll be back with another video very soon. Till then, take good care, and I will you can send me a message on Instagram. I'll leave my link in the description as well. So take good care, everyone. Thank you.